All right, everyone, we start off today talking about Sam Brinton, of course, one of Biden's hires for the Department of Energy, nuclear scientist, etc. Literally has security clearance with regards to certain nuclear energy systems in the United States, so that probably makes this a little bit more concerning than it would be if it was, the janitor at the White House or something. Sam Brinton, the very first non-binary individual to hold such a position, has been arrested because he apparently stole someone's luggage at the airport. Or I should say, Zier stole someone's luggage at the airport. Now, the claim is that it was an accident. Unfortunately, there's security footage of Zier folk removing the tags from the luggage, clearly indicating that it was somebody else's. And Brinton's excuse as well, I was fucking tired and I didn't realize it. Whoops. And then I freaked out afterwards. I was scared, so I just took it home and I realized it wasn't mine, but the only clothes in it somehow were mine anyway, and it doesn't really, nothing about the story adds up. The charges that have been filed are actually felony theft charges, by the way, because of the cost of the item being reasonably high. So it's interesting, once again, we see the pitfalls, the perils of hiring someone simply based on the color of their skin, their genitals, and things like that. The Biden administration is famous for doing this. This is the woke administration, or stewardship, I should say. Joe Biden has put people into positions that are clearly unqualified simply because they made him look better to woke voters. In his mind, at least, made him more electable. There's a reason Kamala, of course, who is uniquely unqualified to be VP, was chosen as running mate anyway. It doesn't have to do with her speaking skills. It doesn't have to do with her work ethic. She's the border czar and still hasn't visited the southern border except for 10 minutes for a photo op one time long ago. She was chosen because it contrasts with having the old white dude there as the candidate. So it spices things up a little bit, just like Jill Biden's breakfast tacos. The fact is, if you actually listen to multiple statements by both Joe Biden and his wife over time, it's quite clear that they're an old bigot couple. They have rather classical views stuck in the 1950s or 60s on things like race and gender. But they also are good business people. They know how to market themselves. Joe Biden is aware that he's elderly, he's male, he's white, and that doesn't appeal to a lot of voters, especially the extreme elderly part, because it brings up electability issues in the sense of, well, is he going to keel in office if we give him a second term? Apparently, he's crazy enough that he's actually seriously considering running for re-election. I don't know how well that'll go over with certain demographics, by the way. But when you do this, when you hire somebody out of a pool of people and you don't really care about the qualifications because in your mind as a politician specifically, the qualification is, again, what they look like or something like that, what religion they happen to have, it becomes inevitably a big fucking problem. Because that means that the person may be not just less qualified, it might be that they're the third best out of the group, but they can still get the job done. Okay, at the very least, things might work out. But then you get this sort of thing going on. It's sort of like the carpetbagging we've seen in, admittedly, literally every past administration. It was in the 19th century, it was extremely profuse. You had like the Tammany Hall feel of electoral politics, a lot of intimidation. My old friend who's out of a job and loves the bottle a little bit too much, he can't hold down a job, lost everything. I'm just going to make him transport secretary because, I happen to like the dude. At least I know that he'll always agree with me. It's quite common. It's actually less common in the Biden admin, ironically, than in that particular era. But instead of it being cronyistic carpetbagging, it's literally id poll. It has changed form over time from, hey, this person will rubber stamp whatever I want them to do and I know that they're never going to vote to remove me or something like that because they literally owe me their whole existence now. It's not like that, like the favor exchange. It's more like Biden says, hey, I'll give you a job and you make me look less old, white, and male. That's basically to make the contrast. And by the way, Brinton just looks like a weirdo anyway, like has the shaved, bald cult head and stuff like that, and I just don't know what the fuck is going on with Mr. Brinton or Miss Brinton, or I'm not actually exactly sure what pronoun is supposed to be used. You can actually get banned on some platforms for dead naming people, but Sam Brinton is the name supposedly, I guess, used or whatever. And by the way, I've been tired in airports before. But if you accidentally, when you take the luggage down, you check the name tag usually. Okay, I can accept maybe like the luggage looked topically similar and, you were tired, you were yawning. Again, you happen to be working with the Biden administration. Why would you be afraid? You know that you're not going to actually face like prison time for this, by the way. It might get fired, might get fined, but that's probably the long and short of it. I would have just immediately gone back and said, look, I took this fucking luggage by mistake. What the fuck? I'm really, really sorry about that. Can you identify its proper owner and get me mine? Why wouldn't you want your own luggage back too? I guess it was because it was a trade up. It's like, oh, look at all the good shit in here. That story doesn't make any sense, to be clear. I find it most concerning that this is impacting a Department of Energy role in which security clearance exists. If this were a lower level employee without security credentials or something, it wouldn't be a story. Nobody would give a fucking shit. They also wouldn't give a fucking shit if it were, by the way, if it were a straight white male individual, they probably would give less of a shit too. It wouldn't get as much airplay. In all honesty, that does make the story funnier. This is the very first non-binary employee in that role, and so it's going to get more attention. I think that maybe the hiring standards of the Biden administration should be reevaluated. I have a feeling that they won't fucking do that. That's about all. Peace out.